Yeah. Oh mate, look at
Cool.
this, double shinies on the same page.
Oh, happy days.
Yeah,
Slag.
yeah.
Slag. I don't remember one called Slag, to be honest,
No.
but yeah. Okay, welcome everybody to another long time ago Lego and stickers. Today we are going to catch up a little bit, aren't we, Martin, on some of the things that we've done in the last month. I mean, at the time of recording, it's December still, so we're going to talk about the Farthest From event, because we haven't really sort of discussed that in person, have we, or together. And also we're going to talk a little bit about the E-Wing, hence why I've got KE4N4 on show at the moment. What else have we got to talk about? The Ghost. You've received your Ghost recently, so it would be good to discuss that a little bit.
Yep.
And also December's Gift the Galaxy reveals. We'll go into those in a little bit more detail. So let's crack on, shall we? Let's get up the Legos and sticker cam. Oh, good. Right. Oh, what's that, Martin? That's not Star Wars.
No. I've been trying to get hold of Return the Jedi stickers to carry on the Return the Jedi, and I do have some, but I don't have enough, I don't think, to fill out an episode. So I'm still looking, because you know what they're like price
Yeah.
wise, they're really expensive. So I don't want to overpay. I just want to pay what they're worth. But
Yeah.
just so happened that I did buy these earlier in
That's,
the well, it would have been last year now, but
yeah.
and so I've got a fair amount of these I can get through. So I thought I'd make a start on my 1986 Transformers album instead. It's completely
Oh,
empty, so I'm starting from
nice.
scratch, just like Return the Jedi. So yeah,
Yeah.
sorry it's not Star Wars, but
Oh,
to a certain
it'd
generation.
be interesting to see how they've done it in comparison to your Return of the Jedi sticker book as well. 'Cause it's
Yeah, definitely.
roughly the same year, was it?
Would have
In
been
of
83 for
release.
Return the Jedi, so
Oh, they
a few
released
years
it
later.
around time. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm carrying on with my Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi Starfighter. I'm so close to the end now. I think I can get it done tonight.
I was going to say it's been a while.
As I've been waiting to do this for quite some time. So let's get to it, shall we?
Excellent.
Um,
Awesome.
so Farthest From event then, Martin. That was pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a really good good day. I mean, obviously we got there. It was a very stormy day, wasn't it? It was
Oh
probably the
yeah,
worst weather we've had in a while.
yes. It's probably
Um,
the worst weather of the year. Yeah, I think
yeah,
it's pretty bad.
uh, yeah, but yeah, I mean, it had lots of vintage goodness in there. But
It was
as a lot of
insane.
these things, it was insane, and it was quite expensive as well. I think you probably
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And we didn't actually pick anything up, which is probably a first for us when we go to a
It has
toy
to
fair.
be. It has to be a first.
Yeah.
Well, we've obviously made the video and we had a lot of comments, so I can't wait to see what you've picked up. And
Yeah.
it's like sheepishly we've had to go back. So, not this time. So, but the event itself, it went over the two, well, technically 3 days, but it went over the 2 days, didn't it?
It did.
For us, and you did the meal on the Saturday night, wasn't it? The Christmas meal. You
Yeah,
haven't
that
really
was
told me anything about it, I don't think.
well, it was do you want honestly, right, it was I'm not just saying it, it was one of probably the best nights I've had last year. It was such a good laugh.
Yeah.
We went with, Keith and Emma Guppy, and, we obviously we'd met Keith. Well, I'd met Keith before, but Steph had never met Keith and or Emma. And I'd like to think that we probably got on like an absolute house on fire, the four of us, and we literally probably laughed from the moment we got there to the moment we left. We were having such a good time.
Yeah.
Much wine was consumed, and much
Yeah.
amber ale was consumed on my half. Unfortunately, Steph was driving, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we met Matt from Zero Hunter Toys was there, so it was great to see
Oh yeah.
him. And Julian, who obviously we see a lot around the toy
Yeah.
fairs, and Totten Toy
Yeah. I
Fair
see Jules.
especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. he was there, so that was really cool. And yeah, the dinner was good. All the guests that were there for the weekend, they went up and did a little 15-minute panel, each of them.
Oh, okay.
Um, and a lot of the things that were announced on the Sunday, we got slight previews to those
Right.
on the Saturday night. Steve Evans didn't announce, obviously, the collection, the new collection of retro figures that he announced
Yeah.
that day, but we were getting hints that there was going to be something the next day. And Brian, was it Brian, the guy who had the Brian Hinkley, who
Hickley,
did the
yeah.
book? Yeah,
Hickley, yeah.
he announced that night, as well as on the Sunday, that he's starting a new book about Palatoy Star Wars. It's
Oh,
just going to
cool.
be about Palatoy
Just
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, which looks really interesting, and I'd definitely be looking into backing that, to be quite honest with you, because it looks phenomenal, what he's
Yeah.
going to do. Um, so yeah, that was really cool. And we played games in the evening. There was lots of games we were playing, and there was little gifts for everybody on the tables.
Nice.
Steph got a poster that was left on the table, that was signed by Steve Evans. Uh, what else was there? And then, after all that, then there was a sort of a sale upstairs in the upstairs room, and this took place about
Oh,
midnight. At this point,
okay.
we were pretty. Is
Well
half
liquored
cut a
up.
good expression?
Yeah.
And so Keith and I, went up and left Steph and Emma downstairs, and had a look around, and basically everyone just brought stuff out or brought stuff with them, and they just put it on the table, and you could just go and buy what, if you wanted anything, you could make offers, and there's some great stuff up there. Just
Yeah.
unfortunately nothing that I was particularly looking for, but um, I
That's
I
pretty
have to
cool.
say, yeah, I have to say, I love a toy fair. I do. We both do. We love the toy fairs. We love all of that. But the best part of any of these weekends is meeting up with your friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we ever mentioned we met up with Nick, APC, APD, Nick,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
awesome. We had lunch with him.
We did, yeah.
But the evening, the meal was basically just that times 10. It was just such a good laugh.
Nice.
Everybody there was really friendly. Everybody, there was people there that just knew stuff. There was Fantha Tracks. They were quite a famous
Yeah,
website
yeah.
when it comes to Star Wars. There was there was Generation Skywalker. There was so many people there that I've known of, but never
Yeah.
met, that I got to meet that night, which was absolutely
That's
awesome.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good, and hopefully, we can go again next year, and you can join us, mate, because I think you'd really enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I bet. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome.
Did they do an auction then or not? Or did I
Yes.
hear
Oh,
something
yes, I
about an
forgot. Yeah,
auction?
they also
Yeah.
did an auction.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
yeah, that was really good.
You didn't enter any, or you didn't bid, I should say.
I bid for one thing. There was a Hondo Anaka pin that was available, and Steph really likes Hondo Anaka, so I won that, and I
Oh,
didn't
nice.
pay very much money for it at all. It was very
Okay.
cheap.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing I bought the entire weekend,
Oh,
to be
right.
honest with you. Um, but yeah, I mean, the best part was just hanging out with everybody, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
It was great, and we're waiting for the next year's dates to be announced, so we can book a hotel instantly
Oh,
to make
yeah.
sure that we can get the dogs in kennels, so we can get down there, because it was that good.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it
That's
was
cool.
great.
Yeah. Obviously, I saw I was there for the toy fair on the day.
Mm.
But sorry, concentrating. Stickers time. Um, but yeah, didn't make the meal sadly because I need to attend to my kids. I think that's more important. But yeah, maybe next year when they're a bit older, I might be able to get down there. It would be quite good. Um,
Yeah, we all.
but another thing, another great experience, great part of the experience was meeting Stevie Evans, Mr.
Yes,
Stevie himself.
yeah.
So you know, we were a little bit apprehensive, weren't we? Let's face it. We were, should we go and speak to him?
Yeah.
Um, But
It took Steph to persuade us both to go over
it
and
did.
actually say hello.
Yeah, and well, yeah. I mean, we should. There was no reason why we shouldn't have done because he was such a nice bloke, and he
Yeah, he
was,
was.
he shared a few insights with us on like. Oh, hang on. Sorry, the
Right.
suspense. I was just checking I've done that right. I have. He shared some insights, didn't he, with us, which was great. He obviously asked how we were enjoying the announcements throughout 2024,
Yep.
and you know, we both agreed that 2024 there was a lot of Mandalorians at the beginning of the year. Oh, shinies,
Yeah. Yeah. Shiny.
but
Didn't get that with Return of the Jedi.
you don't know. So yeah, a lot of Mandalorians, which we were a little bit sort of, upset about to begin the year, but after that, there were a hell of a lot of hits, weren't there, in the
Yeah.
vintage collection, and he's certainly reassured you of things moving forwards, hasn't he? Who
Yeah, he also mentioned. Well, before we get into that, the best thing really was he mentioned about the ring of death that's around a lot of the more recent vintage
Yeah.
collection cards, and
Oh, I
he was
was going to get
assuring
into
us
that.
that they discovered how that was happening and they're going to put a stop to it, so we shouldn't see that again in the future. Which
And it
which
was
I
to
thought
do
was
with the way they were stacked, wasn't it, in the
that's right.
boxes? So they've changed the boxes of how they're shipping everything, and with a bit of luck, we're not going to see the ring of death. Is that what we're
I, I,
referring
I
to it
might
as?
I might have just made that phrase up, but
Yeah,
everybody who collects the carded vintage collection figures knows what I'm talking about. It's
yeah,
that annoying double bubble ring that goes round the edge of the
yeah,
other bubble. It's quite frustrating, and I know a lot of the people that sell the figures, like Star Action Figures, will be happy about that because I got a wave come in just before Christmas, and it had a little note saying that they've had to sort of hand pick out these figures to make
yeah.
sure that they're good enough to send to collectors, and they've had to send one hell of a lot back.
Oh
And
wow.
the note kind of said they've done the best they can, so it must have been a pretty big problem for them and, well, the retailers. So that's probably the main reason that Hasbro are sorting that out.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that's good news. And moving forward, I do get the feeling that Hasbro are listening to the fans, don't
Mm.
you?
Yeah. I mean, eh, uh, we've had some good announcements over the last you know few months or couple of months before Christmas, but we'll go into that perhaps a bit in a bit. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I was, obviously he's not going to listen to the likes of me, but it was really nice of him to sort of ask us, what would you like to see in the vintage collection? Which is
Yeah.
kind of like, me, the worst thing you could possibly do for me, because I was like filling out a list all of a sudden. Um,
Yeah,
and
a
I obviously,
literal list. He gave it to him. He was like,
yeah,
"Take this, make all of
yeah,
these, and we'll be happy." Okay.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm not going to say what they were because I think it would be unfair to do so. But he kind of sort of gave me a knowing nod, saying, "Think you'll be happy."
Yeah,
Was it next year? He said next year. I think you'll be happy. So that to me is very positive.
yeah,
That he's listening and he's gonna do something along the lines of what some of us are thinking. So yeah, overall, I mean, it was a great chatting with him, and we
yeah.
I got to show him my collection room, and he grabbed the phone off of me and was zooming in, and so he's really like approachable, and
Yeah.
he's interested in what the fans have or are interested in. So yeah, I mean, top
I
bloke,
think,
really top bloke.
I think he's a fan himself.
Oh,
I think that
absolutely, yeah.
helps. You can
Yeah.
tell, and a collector, he obviously collects himself. So
Mm.
imagine what his collection's like. Sadly, he didn't show us that.
Well, if you go onto Instagram, he often puts videos out, and
True.
he's got lots of pictures of him in his collection room, and it makes my collection room look pathetic.
Yeah.
It's not just Star
Yeah.
Wars either. You know, he
Oh,
collects
no.
everything. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. Oh mate, look at
Cool.
this double shinies on the same page.
Oh, happy days.
Yeah,
Slag.
yeah.
Slag. I don't remember one called Slag, to be honest,
No.
but yeah, my
Oh,
memory
I should mention,
of that.
I actually realised after I'd bought this that the album's in German.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So so uh, I will have to use Google Translate whenever I want to read one of the panels, but I don't mind. You know, at the end of the day, it's the sticker album, and I got it for so cheap it doesn't matter. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite difficult to sort of know whether what's going on. But thankfully, I've seen the cartoon several times, so it's good.
Yeah. Kampf in den Wolken. Yeah. Yeah. My German's not great, so I'm not the best
No,
person to ask.
no.
Um, actually, my German's non-existent, but yeah. Uh, right. What was next then? Oh yes, our E-wings arrived
Yes.
this year.
Yep.
Last year. um, happy with it? What did you? I mean, you're obviously you don't. You're not. You're not going to be. Or well, neither of us are keeping the vehicle, but yeah. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I didn't keep the vehicle. Sorry, I'm just going to close the door. Yeah, I didn't keep the vehicle. It literally came in. I took the action figure out, and then as soon as I take the action figure out, I put it on eBay, and I sold it within 3 hours.
Oh wow.
So yeah, and yeah, they got a good deal. Let's just say that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I only wanted the figure. That it's just an amazing card back. It's an amazing looking droid. It's obviously everyone knows it's sort of a throwback to the old Kenner R2D2s from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But it just looks amazing, and the image on the card's great. I love it when the droids sort of do that sideway look in one of the scenes in Star Wars. Oh, you've got it there,
Yeah.
excellent.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It is such a good card. This. Love this.
yeah, it's great.
Um. Yeah. Nice little scene. Well, needs a bit of dusting already. uh, a nice little scene in Ahsoka with it as well. So
Yeah, yeah. But I
I
don't really
mean,
have too much to say about the E-wing itself, though. I'm afraid.
no, no,
No.
of course. But for me, it was my first large item, if you like. There was
Mm,
my first vehicle. Um, Obviously, I'd taken the card out because astromechs are all I care about. But
yeah, fair.
and then yeah, and then sold on the vehicle itself. But it was quite impressive, seeing it arrive. But none more so than the Ghost, right?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I had to help the delivery driver lift it off the back of the lorry, not because he
Oh
asked, but
wow.
because I was worried he was going to drop it.
Yeah.
And there was precious cargo in there, the four
Mm.
action figures, so I didn't want them
Yeah.
damaged. But again, this is going out mid-January, so I've sold the Ghost. It's gone. It's
Oh wow.
I sold the vehicle and kept the action figures. So yeah, I'm going to keep those. But I did buy a second Ghost as well, and
Okay.
that one is still currently in the house. I haven't sold that one, but I got the second run of action figures, carded action figures, because I was thinking of getting those ones graded. Um,
Right.
and I have to say, I have put off selling the other Ghosts because I've been watching all the reviews, like Keith Guppy and Boss Bounty. They all did some great reviews, and God, it looks so good. So I'm going to keep it for the time being.
For the
I'm not going
time
to take it
being.
out of the
Okay.
box because I don't have anywhere to put it, but I'm going to keep
No.
keep it in storage. Um,
Okay.
but but the second wave of action figures that came with the second Ghost, the Hera Syndulla figure was scratched, absolutely scratched
Oh
up.
no.
So hopefully, I mean, obviously, this is going out like in a month's time, but hopefully, I've been on to Hasbro, but hopefully by now they would have sorted that out because I've made a massive complaint because obviously you spend all that
Yeah.
money, you expect it to
Oh
be
yeah.
coming in perfect. So,
Mint. Mm.
so, but typically, I'm the only person I've seen that's posted about their figures on various platforms that seems to have a damaged one. So that's really, really frustrating.
It's
But
always you.
yes, it is, isn't it? It is, yeah.
It's always you, and you always get it really late as well. They always arrive later. I think that's just where down to where you live. But
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, so but no, it looked fantastic. I mean, as I say, I haven't taken it out of the box yet. I'll have to wait until I can one day hopefully have room for it. But all the videos I've seen, it looks absolutely immense. I mean, it looks so detailed. It
yeah,
really is a thing of beauty. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to say about it than that, really, because it's the action figure, carded action figure. They're my main priority, as you and everybody who probably watches us knows. I'm
yeah.
not really a vehicle collector, um,
No,
so yeah, we'll see, we'll see.
pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yes. Moving forward then, all through December they had Gift the Galaxy
Mm,
from Hasbro, which
yeah,
was quite interesting.
it
Um,
was.
going through some of those reveals. We had obviously they did it for the Vintage Collection and Black Series. A significant amount more for Black Series. What were your sort of thoughts on that
Well,
before we
my
get
thoughts on
into
it
it too much?
changed as it went on. I think we were both absolutely like, "What's going on?" Weren't we? Because the first three
Yeah,
weeks or 4 weeks, there was one vintage collection reveal, and it was an IG-12 on the bigger card. But then there was absolutely loads of Black Series 2 packs, and I think there was a
yeah,
Kalnaka single figure as well that was announced, and we were like, "Well, hang a minute, vintage collection's getting short shrift here," and it's something that we've noticed over the last year, isn't it? That we've talked about,
yeah,
that vintage collection doesn't seem to get the same number of releases, or the same when they do have the same number of releases, they're usually repacks or just other versions of the same figure.
yeah,
So we were like, at this point, 4 weeks in, we were really disappointed and thinking, what's going on here? This they need to improve. But then week 5 and 6 came along, and I have to admit, I was a lot happier because we
yeah.
got the Heir to the Empire 3 pack with Grand Admiral Thrawn, Captain Pelion, and Jorah Sabbothin, which again, harkening back to when we went to Florida in 1993, was it? I think, Adam, I can't, I
93,
never
yeah,
remember. Yeah, 93.
93, yeah,
I went into Hollywood. It was MGM Studios back then, and we went on the Star Tours ride. And as you left the Star Tours ride, there's a shop. It's called Tatooine Traders now,
yeah.
and in that shop were the three Heir to the Empire trilogy of books, but they were on cassette tape. They were audio
Okay,
books,
yeah.
and I purchased them while we were there, and I devoured all three audio tapes for all three of the trilogy of books while we were on holiday in the evenings. You probably don't
Oh,
remember
nice.
that.
No,
So,
not even
and I
slightly.
instantly loved it. Instantly loved it because for me, it was my first foray into the expanded universe. And as far as I was concerned, this was the sequel to the first trilogy, the original trilogy.
Yeah,
So, this is what a lot of us have had in mind when they announced the sequel trilogy, was this sort of story that we read in the mid 90s. And it is a great book, and it's got some great characters in. So to see these people, or these characters on vintage cards now is
yeah,
absolutely great. I mean, I know we've obviously seen Grand Admiral Thrawn in Ahsoka already,
yeah.
and the man. No, sorry, yeah, just Ahsoka, isn't it? And we've seen Captain Pelion in The Mandalorian. He was one of those holograms in the Shadow Council that Moff Gideon was
Okay,
talking to. Yeah, and
right.
he's the one who said we should wait for Thrawn's return. So
Ah,
so
yeah,
they're obviously they've already built in that connection from the books into this
yeah,
story, which is great for us fans.
Yeah.
of the books. And then Jorah Saboth, he was a clone of an ancient Sith lord, if I remember correctly. And yeah, he's a great foe for Luke Skywalker in the trilogy as well. So, to see
Yeah.
those characters on vintage cards, it's just I'm over the moon with that. It's great. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah, because I didn't really know a whole lot about that, and I was waiting to talk about it on here actually. But but that's not your only the only one that you're excited about, is it? IG-12 with the Anzellan and Grogu, another
No,
Grogu.
no,
No,
yeah.
no, no, no. The Journey of Anakin Skywalker special action figure set.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they pulled it back from the fire because, as I say, by week 4, and then we got week 5, and they threw in that 3-pack. So I was
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, that's brilliant, that's brilliant. But then they absolutely knocked it out of the park for me personally with the Journey of Luke Skywalker special action figure set
yeah,
3-pack, because again, I've literally the last month or two started to collect those special action figure set packs,
yeah,
and to have another one released, I think this will be the first one that's been released for quite a while. I think the last one was that 3-pack of the Clone Troopers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah, that was and I thought they were going to not do them anymore. To be honest with you, if I'm honest, but yeah, to see another one come along is great because I'm in the midst of collecting the original vintage collection 1.0s and the 2.0s. So this is another
yeah.
2.0 for me to hunt down, or not hunt down, pre-order, which I've already done.
Pre-order in this case. Yeah, yeah,
And again, it'll be great. I mean, you can just see them again over my right shoulder there. It'll be great to add those to the collection. And
yeah,
yeah, they display so nicely next to each other. And again, they harken back to the old 1978 to 86 Star 85, sorry, Star Wars figures, when they brought out the special action figure sets back then. So
yeah,
again, I love it. I love all that old school. That's what I love about vintage collection. When I look at the vintage collection, and I apologize for repeating myself, I say this all the time, but I look at those card backs, and it just takes me back to seeing them in the
yeah,
shop and getting them as a Christmas present. It's such great. And I never actually got a 3 special action figure set when I was a kid, so it'd be great to carry on that. So, yeah, I was really, really sort of not happy with the all of the Tuesday releases until weeks 5 and 6 came along, and then
yeah,
I didn't really care too much about the disparity in numbers. I was actually like, okay, well, they've won me over, and I actually messaged. Well, I messaged Steve Evans on Instagram when he posted that's what they're releasing, and I put to him, this is my favorite release, or sorry, this is my favorite announcement of 2024, and I think I'll
yeah,
stand by that. I absolutely love the look of that, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. And I'd say the Heir to the Empire 3-pack's probably a close second as well, because I really like the look of that. So it's going to be a
yeah,
good 2025
yeah.
of things
Well,
coming up.
yeah, let's hope so. But the other one that we didn't talk too much about, the IG-12 with the Anzellan and Grogu. Um, yeah, it is what it is, but it's on the larger card back, isn't it? Like the Cobb Vanth. That's right. That's right, isn't it? Cobb
Yes,
Vanth.
that's right. Yeah,
Cobb
the Cobb
Vanth.
Vanth. Yeah.
What do you make of those? So
Um,
obviously, I think the biggest issue with those is that now you got to buy a different deflector case for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things people are annoyed about is the accessories that come with them don't really warrant them having a bigger card and a bigger bubble. So they could, if they wanted to, just store the accessories behind the figure, make the bubble
Hmm.
smaller, and then put it on a regular card, which I totally get and I actually agree with. But in the grand scheme of things, and they don't display great because obviously you sit them next to a regular card and they just don't look right. But
Yeah,
I don't mind them. I mean, would I prefer they didn't do them? Probably, yeah. I'd prefer to have them on a single card, but it's not something I'm that bothered about, to be honest with you, Adam. I'm not, losing any sleep over it. It's just, it is what it is. And you can buy DC deflector cases, very cheaply for those to
yeah,
put. put them in to keep them protected. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's at the end of the day, it's a business trying to make more money by making something a bit bigger, but then
Mm.
fooling you into thinking you're getting more for your money, but really you're just getting what you normally get. And
Yeah.
that's been going on for years and decades, so it's nothing new. And
So
would it
do
be
they
nice if we?
actually do they actually cost more, those larger ones then?
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
They
yeah,
do, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
considerably more, yeah. Um,
To begin with anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, which is wrong, absolutely wrong. If they were like a few quid extra, that'd be fine. But I think they're about 8 or 9 quid, maybe more. Some of them, I
Mm.
don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. But the problem is with being a collector now is you pre-order, and you're probably starting to realize this. You pre-order so much stuff and you pay for it, and then you
Yeah.
forget 6 months to a year later when it actually
Yeah.
arrives how much you paid for it. So it's almost like it's free. It's not free,
It
but
feels
it
it
feels like
when
it's
you
free
first buy
because
it. Yeah.
because it's come so late after buying it that you think
Mm.
to yourself, "Oh, actually, nothing's come out of my account at that time." So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think would that possibly be a clever marketing thing? I don't know, but
Oh, I
yeah,
don't know. I think
yeah,
the toughest part about it is the fact that they release them all in December.
yeah,
When they actually send them off, it's December, which is just the hardest month when you've got,
yeah.
well, trying to afford things. I get it, like they're doing it because people buy them for Christmas, but I don't know. I think it's a bit harsh. I think it needs to be a sort of middle of the year thing when we're maybe a
I think
little bit better off.
No, I 100% agree, and I think they could all they have to do is just separate them by a month or two each. I mean,
Exactly.
in December we got the E-wing. You and I both got the E-wing, and
Yeah.
I got wave 54 and 55 of the vintage collection come in,
Yeah.
and they were like a week apart. And then I had the Ghost arrive, and
Two
obviously I'd
ghosts.
already two ghosts, yeah, but I'd already
Yeah.
paid for the ghosts,
Yeah.
um, and so that was fine. But and I'd paid for the E-wing, I think, prior
Yeah.
to it coming. But the two waves of figures, it's like that both comes out your account, doesn't it? A week
Yeah.
apart,
Yeah.
and it's a
Exactly.
week before Christmas or 2 weeks before Christmas. It's mental. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the Black Series then, they obviously got a hell of a lot more than the vintage collection. Uh, what do you make of those figures? Anything sort of pique your interest? I know you're not a Black Series collector or 6-inch collector, but
Um, I mean, I like the Luke and Leia Bouche 2-pack from Dark Empire. I think it was Dark
yeah,
Empire. I'm fairly sure it
yes,
was.
that's what I've got here. Yeah,
Um,
I'll just go through them quickly,
yeah.
so that we know exactly what they are. They're the Jedi Survivor 2-pack, the Dagon Gira and BX droid. Uh, they're mostly 2-packs. The Clone Commander and B1 battle droid. Commander Cody and Obi-Wan, and then on its own Kelnaka from the
Mm,
Acolyte, and then the Empire 2-pack that you mentioned, Luke and Leia,
yeah.
um, and then the 2-pack Phase 1 clone and Super Battle Droid.
Mm,
So quite, I mean,
yeah.
they're obviously they're all quite similar. They're of the same era for the most part. Well, three of them are, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, half of them. So
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of those, I mean, I don't know the Black Series, so any Black Series collectors that might be watching this, they could probably correct me. But a lot of those look like figures that have already come out, and
mm,
they've just basically repackaged them or they repainted them.
yeah,
Um, so there is an argument to be actually made there that Black Series isn't getting a lot of new stuff there. They're getting a lot of reissues.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's difficult because I'm not an expert. I mean, and I used to collect the Black Series when they first came out, but then I moved
yeah,
back to 3 3/4. And they
yeah,
look fantastic. They really do. But yeah, I mean, I think the Obi-Wan and Commander Cody are coming out on separate cards as well next year. in
Yeah.
the Revenge of the Sith packaging, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
So that one, even that one, that's gonna come out twice by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But that leads me to something else that we both talked about, is the fact that what I'd love to see is the vintage collection do a small range of anniversary editions when there's an anniversary for
Mm.
a film, because Black Series do it, and people would eat that up. I mean, I would buy them. Well, the thing is, I'd buy all the vintage collection, so that's not a good
Yeah.
example. But you know, people are into the prequels now. The prequels are a hot commodity in Star Wars. You know, original trilogy will always be a hot commodity to people of my era
Yeah.
and my age. But the prequels now have got such a following because of, you know, everything that Star Wars is being made to do with Star Wars has some connection to the prequels, it seems, these days. So I
Yeah.
think they're understanding now that there's a lot of mileage out of them. And I've, as I say, I personally always loved them. So why not do something like the vintage collection anniversary editions of Revenge of the Sith? You know, I
Yeah.
mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, I mean, do it. We didn't get Phantom Menace last year, did we?
No, no, we didn't. Not well, not what we thought we were going to get anyway. So
No.
yeah, yeah. No, that's it. How are you getting on there?
Not
How
too bad. Are
many?
you
How
finished?
many? How many have you opened?
Well, maybe 5 packs, I think.
Okay, I'll let you
Yeah.
stick those last few because I have now finished.
Oh,
There it
fantastic.
is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, let's get that in shot a bit better. Oh, that's tricky.
That's awesome. That looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite cool. Quite cool. I like this.
So, are you going to give us a preview of what you're building in our next episode of Lego and stickers? Or are you going to
Well,
keep it stum?
I'm no, I'm in two minds. So I've got two sets available. One I can't quite remember the exact name of it, but it's the Mace Windu set with some of his clone army. Um, and I've also obviously one of my pickups was the Rebuild the Galaxy Dark Falcon,
Ooh, it's a
and
big one.
part of me wants to crack on with that. You know,
Hmm.
I
Well,
don't know.
we could
We'll
let
see.
people in the comments decide for you.
That's a great idea.
Mm.
So yeah, well, I'll maybe we put up on the screen what Mace Windu set I'm talking about, so people
Yeah,
can decide. It's a bit smaller, probably on par with this model, so I can maybe get through it in 3 or 4 episodes. Um, or is it going to be the Dark Falcon? Yeah, yeah, that's a great shout. Let us know in the comments. Otherwise, I think that wraps it up for today.
yeah,
We can
brilliant.
crack on with
Enjoyed
some
that.
Transformers and Lego in another outing. Cool.
Excellent.
Well, thank you all for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.